All right, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the Gals Nest. This is ID84. As always, the Adam Mallett to my left, all right, depending on how you're looking at the
Right,
screen.
wherever I am.
Right. And I guess we're gonna pick up what we picked last week. We had 2 weeks ago we had Mike Brazil, the media guy for the Gals, on with us, and he kind of gave us behind the look of the Gulls. And then the last week, Adam and I went into a few more of the Hall of Famers, and we got 3 guys left we got to go through. So we're gonna probably bang out 2 this week, and then next week we'll bang out the last one. And by that time, rosters should be out, and we
That's
should be
right.
on the roll here. So let's see how that goes. So allegedly the roster's gonna be out by around April, 1st of April. So that's within a couple weeks from now, right? Where are we, the 15th? 14th. What is the date? I don't even know what the date is. Mid March. Just call it that way. If you're watching this video, it's probably sometime in April. So it is what it is. But so as we talked about, the Girls Hall of Fame was a couple weeks ago, and they did 7 inductees. Maybe I should shut the volume off on that. It'd be nice. And today we're going to talk about 2 of the guys. Both pitchers. Both had a stint in the major leagues, and both were on the same team together, actually, in 2012. So let's talk first about Pete Kilich, shall we?
Yes, let's do
All
this.
right. So Pete was on the team in 2012. Bryant University from New Jersey. What is he? Born 91, so he's in his 30s, early 30s right now. Went to high school in New Jersey, Jackson, New Jersey. Fun fact about Jackson, New Jersey. Home of Six Flags Great Adventure, in case you're wondering. You ever go to that one?
No, I haven't. I've been. Where was Riverside?
Riverside. Yeah, that's up in Springfield.
That's not there anymore. That's Six Flags now.
That's Six
right?
Flags, yeah.
Yeah.
Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, Jackson, New Jersey. I only remember this because I went there like, God, 30 years ago when I was in 7th grade, and
Yeah.
it was a hell of a time. So, but he went to Bryant University in Rhode Island. So actually, pitching for the Gulls was actually he never had to go too far in the summertime because he just basically went down the street
Yeah.
to Newport. So,
sorry.
no, go ahead. Yeah, what was you gonna say?
No, I was gonna go back to Pete here. This is no easy feat in the sense that he went to Bryant and he has his second most wins in school history. So
Right.
that's something right there that is extremely impressive. I mean, anytime you can achieve a record at any level is definitely an accomplishment. You know,
All-time winning pitcher at Bryant University. He has low 90s grade control. That's what the scouts said on him. And then the 2012 season, he actually started as a bullpen guy, and within 3 weeks, he was already starting for the team. So, let me know if I'm correct, but I believe 2012 was a championship year. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
So he was on a championship ball club for that year, which is pretty nice, you know. So let's look down here what we got here. So he pitched 43 years at Bryant, 2011 to 2013. Drafted by the Padres in the 38th round of the 2013 amateur draft. There you go.
Yeah.
And it looks like in 13, after he was drafted, he played in the rookie league down there. Let's see, 13 games, started 10 of them. Yeah, it was pretty low his rookie year. It was like 1.4. And then he got promoted up to A-ball up in Fort Wayne, in the Midwest League, and he pitched so he only did 5 games up there. So the 2014 season. So we were trying to do some research on him, and we couldn't really find much.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about him. I really do.
Too.
I mean, he has. I mean, he's got some good hits and promising stuff going on here. You know, he was 38. I mean, he's drafted. I mean, he's by the Padres. He was, an NECBL top reliever in 2012 and first team 2012 NECBL All-Star game. Like he has some stuff going on, and I just want to know more. And I don't know. Typically, I feel like when you see something like this, it usually means injuries. or
Yes.
something derailed you there that kind of slowed things down, which is I'm starting to realize as I get older is the case for a lot of players. We always hear about the players that make it, and then the ones
Right.
that don't get that higher up don't make it. The ones it's usually an injury.
Right.
It's,
Which makes sense because especially if you have all this juice in you, right? It's like a matter of just one injury will sideline you and kind of derail you and it's next guy up, right? It's not like they're gonna wait around for you be
yeah.
the next guy. You know what I mean? It's a matter of you gotta be there, you gotta push through, and if you're not, then it is what it is. But
Did you see the counter on the website, on the Gulls website? The counter in
no.
the top left. There's a counter on the left. It says "Let's go," and it has the days, hours, minutes, and seconds counting down to the season.
Oh, really? No, I didn't check that out. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's 84 days, 23 hours, 18 minutes, and 1 second. As I say
84.
this.
It's a good number right there. That's
Ayo.
when the season starts. So yeah, so we get 3 years in college, we get 3 years in the minors. Yeah, especially when you look at the games played and they only go down to like, for a whole season, 5, 11, 6, right? So it makes you think like in 2015, he played on 3 teams. He was on or 2 teams rather. He was on Fort Wayne, A ball, and then he was in back to the rookie league in Arizona. So I
Yeah.
mean, not hey, listen, you can't knock anyone who's made it to the playing the professional level at all time. You know what I mean? That's pretty impressive by itself. But he's a college coach right now. I bet
Yeah.
so he's one of the guys we want to get on. I bet he's very accessible to talk to because we like to learn a lot more of them. The problem is we're limited to what we got for media stuff that they gave him, research we did ourselves. We got the kind of the one sheet from the girls. Some of the stats right here. He threw 94 innings of Bryant, arrived to Newport, pitching out of the bullpen, has starting role. Um, let's see, role on the pitching staff, starting 4 games down the stretch. ERA of 2.19, 41 innings pitched, 11 walks, 49 strikeouts, pretty damn good. 2012 playoff. He was outstanding with an ERA of .69. How's that, huh? That's pretty good. 2-0, and 13 innings. Actually, my printer started dying over there. So all those are pretty
Hmm.
impressive numbers for someone. And then, like you said, it has to be a matter of an injury that probably sidelined. But I'd like to know for sure. But I'd like to know what he's doing in college level pitching. I mean, coaching. I'm sure he's doing
I
very
did.
well.
I did just find something on. Oh wait, no, it's not him. Never mind. I was sorry. That was it's our next guy. Yeah.
It's the other Pete Yelich, it's hanging out.
Yeah.
It's a doppelganger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we're good. We'll do some of our homework. We'll try to get some more information on this guy, and I like to because I like to know where it happens, what happens, right? Like the next guy we're about to talk about, actually, I was just watching the YouTube video. He was in it, being interviewed, and kind of gave his whole spill of what happened, which is pretty interesting. And he was also on the 12 team. He was also on the 13th team too. His name was Brett Graves, also
Brett Graves.
another
Yeah.
inductee of this year's Newport Gulls Hall of Fame. And
Um,
he's the type of guy that if you do some information on, you can find him plethora of it. He has a YouTube page, which
oh,
you
it's great. It's
guys should check
great.
out.
I love how did you notice how when you first go on the page is like his main page is like him whiffing guys?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. But yeah, that's what
So
mine would be. I would
Brett
do the
got
same
this,
thing.
yeah, on his YouTube. He has this killer, like it's a slow down
Intro, yeah.
video that he has. Like also, we had one of his like pinned videos of him pitching 102 miles per hour, and you can kind of see the whole progression of the arm all slowed down, like how he gets the ball over the plate, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, so let's see, let me get my paperwork here. He was on the team for 2 years, um, and he was the ace of the team in 13. 13, not a championship here. I have my quick reference guide here, but 12 was, and he won the championship in the 12 year, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, a lot on him. Like, where do we start?
I know yeah, I mean, we'll start with the Gulls, obviously, where he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grew up in Missouri, St. Charles, Missouri. 6'1", 170. Went to University of Missouri. Pitched there for 4 years. And then trying to see where he. All right, so 13 season right there. There he is. Oh, there in the summer league. 4-0 in the 2013 season for Newport. Yeah,
Mhm.
ERA of 1, not too shabby. 6 games played, 6 games started, and 35.2 innings pitched during that time. And I'm I, I'm trying to did did you find any information on his 2012 season?
So wow, okay. So it's funny. I'm reading something not from the Gulls website. I found something on a site called stats.pointbreak, and it's like it's pretty impressive.
Okay.
Like no, what they're saying, like the wording is just great. In 2013, Graves stepped into an even larger role for his Tigers, starting 13 games and hurling 71 innings. The Collegiate season prepared Graves for a lights out summer back in Newport. Like it's just, but 2012, um,
Yeah, it says he was
2012 and 2013, selected by hometown Cardinals out of high
mhm.
school, 26th round in 2011. Um, he's
It says he was on
prepared.
the team in 12, but that could be maybe that's a oh, interesting. But
Hmm.
what the Gulls have about him? Let's see. Right-handed pitcher, attended University of Missouri. Was selected by his hometown St. Louis Cardinals out of high school, 26th round of the 11 draft. There was one thing he said on his YouTube page, and they should follow. Just type in Brett Graves on on YouTube, and you can find it. He talked about how one of his goals was after being drafted out of high school that he wanted his basic goal was to be drafted again once college was done. So that was like his intent when it was all said and done, which he did. He ended up getting drafted by, looks like the Marlins picked him up right after that second draft,
Yes, yep, he was with the Marlins. Yep.
and he actually played there for a period of time. It's funny because it's like I'm looking at the years he was there. I'm wondering if I seen him play in minor league baseball down there. I guess no, I missed that. I didn't go to Marlins AAA that year, but I thought that'd be pretty funny if I was down there when he was playing. Um, No, that was the double A. But anyways, I digress. Right-hand pitcher, Tennessee, Missouri, drafted by the Marlins Tigers, 49 play for the Missouri Tigers, thrown 47 innings across 18 appearances, 10 of which were starts. Um, he primarily threw out of the bullpen, but like we said, after a few games with the Gulls, he was back. He was well, back. They put him as a starting position because he was an ace that year. Um,
Mm.
what the scouts say, great overall player with mechanics, which you can actually see on his YouTube page. Kind of breaks everything down a bit, kind of shows exactly the dynamics of how to properly pitch a ball, how to
Yeah,
how everything works, you know.
he's definitely a fundamentals guy. I mean, he's president of Premier Pitching Performance in Wentzville, Missouri, and they train pitchers so for competition. So and you look at his YouTube page, and it's just I love stuff like this too. It's actually really cool. Like you have conditioning and keys to being successful in baseball, and wish advice I wish I received for college sports, and just stuff like this. It'd be very helpful to somebody who's looking to get into baseball. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And he actually has something that says there, things I wish I knew when I was in college to get ready for professional baseball. Which is some pointers there, which I could see being very um helpful at this point. Like, so what is he doing now? Does it say what he's doing now?
That's all I have right now. It just says one of his main roles is the president of Premier Pitching Performance,
Okay.
in Wentzville, Missouri.
And what is that? Does it say what that is? Is that just a organization for?
It says the company trains pitchers at every level
Okay.
of competition while providing the resources and equipment needed to succeed. That's just what that says. I'm not
Okay.
reading
So
it
he's
quote for quote.
I would imagine that's a company that basically, if you were a really good pitcher and you needed some advice or someone to fine tune you or some secondary coaching, that's probably where you go to
Yeah.
kind of outsource, probably, which would make sense. So he made it up to the triples, um, New Orleans slash Jacksonville, um, Triple A team of the Marlins, and let's see, he had 13 games of New Orleans, 19, and then they moved at some point. Well, Jacksonville is the double A team. So it's a funny thing about the Marlins, if you're not sure, if you don't know much about Major League Baseball, because I'm just a connoisseur of minor league baseball. The New Orleans, they were called the Zephyrs, and then they for one season changed the name to the Baby Cakes. Did you know what the Baby Cake is, Eric? I mean Eric,
Not
Adam.
Eric. Oof.
Oh
No, I do
God.
not actually.
Boy, so a baby
Uh,
cake is a during Mardi Gras they have that cake and they put a little like rubber baby in it and then they slice it up. And I presumably think is if you get the baby in your slice, it's like good luck for the year. Or do you host a party the next year or something like that?
this
So
does
for,
sound great. I don't want to be. I don't want to host anything. It sounds.
yeah, it's like you're avoiding the. So for
Yeah.
one season, the Zephyrs changed the names of the baby cakes, and then they moved from Jacksonville from New Orleans to Jacksonville and became the AAA team in Jacksonville. But Jacksonville prior to that had a AA team for the Marlins, which I'm not sure where they relocated to. But yeah, in case you're wondering, a lot of Jacksonville information. Mac Jones didn't know he was from Jacksonville.
Didn't either. Yeah.
I thought he was from California actually, but I guess he's playing for them this year. For not to digress on baseball talk,
On
but
the bench.
since we're in New England, we ref, relate a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, it says all right. So it says he also some other stats on him. Possibly the best 2013 NACBL player, All Star and League champ. Which says 2013, which doesn't make any sense. So that must be from 2012. I must be reading that wrong.
Yeah, it could be a typo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very coachable, great teammate, great fastball, fair in hitters. I'm actually looking forward to. I'm actually going to kind of nerd out on some of his YouTube now because I got into players YouTube videos or YouTube
Oh.
channels during like a few years ago. Two major league pitches basically I've gotten to their pages and they do these things where kind of like Brett does is where they do like instructional stuff, like where they kind of give you like some pointers on how to how to pitch in, how to hold a ball, how to do all this stuff, which I think is extremely informative because we never had that stuff when we were kids.
No, no, we didn't. Well, I mean, we did. You probably had to really seek it out more, though. Now because of social media, it can help you find what you need, the
Well,
tools you need more.
not
Yeah.
like you could just Google it. Like when you had to go to the friggin' library and like look at like baseball
That's true.
fundamentals and how to hold the ball, right? Or maybe if you're lucky, like in the barrels of some library, there was like a reel to reel, like 8 millimeter film of like instructional baseball from 1960. This is how you hold the
Uh,
ball, and it has like an old school guy, and it's like, you know,
Not that I amounted to much, but I was a pitcher, and yeah, I just learned through trial and error. Mallett, you suck today. Let
well,
me show
wouldn't it
you
be nice?
something.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if you could have went home and just Googled like, all right, what's going on with my like cutter? Let me see how am I throwing this incorrectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think there's like possibilities of like information these days. And I think it's like this generation, maybe not our generation of players, like our age in our 40s, but like the 30-year-old pitchers, right? Because when we face it, we grew up, YouTube didn't come out until we were like, in our 20s, right? We didn't grow up on YouTube. We kind of
No, we
joined.
didn't. Yeah.
What was it 2006? YouTube came around 2005, right?
Yeah, when people started putting videos of their dogs online, that's what
Yeah.
started everything. Yeah.
Well, you get the amount of information and the way it's progressive probably didn't roll out and probably till about 2010, 2011. That's when you had these like professional YouTubers come about, right? So
Hmm.
you figure it's the generation after us that really got engaged in using social media and stuff like this and actually having the ability to post instructional videos, tips to players, stuff like this, which wouldn't be available to someone our age, but for the generation after us and the generations prior to that, it's great stuff. And I think a lot of these players starting doing that stuff like around that time, because well, no, nowadays after they're done, because I think it helps them. I figure if you're really passionate about the game, what you'd want to do mostly is try to coach or put people in the right position to be successful just with your knowledge, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean,
It
because
seems like Brett's definitely doing that. Yeah.
yeah, just think about how much stuff's out there that like you just don't know because you just never experienced it, right?
Yeah.
Like any profession, right? Think about anything in the world, like being like a pilot of the space shuttle, right? Let's get really extreme. We just don't know
Oh,
because we
oh.
never got a chance to pilot a space shuttle, or we never known anyone who drove a space shuttle, right?
Drove and flew. Yeah,
A
yeah.
flu, whatever you want to
Yeah.
fucking freaking call it. But then we could just Google. We go to like YouTube and be like, "What's it like to fly a space shuttle?" And
Or
we'll
you can
probably
find a
find like
simulator.
or a simulator or find a guy that flew one who could tell you what it's about, right? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
It's like
true.
because like up until when we were young, our the extent to our knowledge basically was basically the library or a museum or something of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, you know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of like underwhelming the information. And people say like, "Oh, you guys were the greatest generation. You had everything on." We had Encyclopedia Britannica on a DVD that once you got it for that year, it was donezo. So like
No,
I have a
Artie, back up. You're giving it too much. It's
oh
DVD, no CD-ROM.
CD. I mean that's what I meant. CD-ROM. I'm sorry, Jesus. Yeah, CD-ROM.
DVDs. That's you're giving us too much credit there. Like,
My first encyclopedia was on with 3.5 inch discs, and you had to load. I remember sitting there. It was an all night affair. You would load them up, and it would take like there was probably like 6 or 7 discs you'd put into the machine to have the encyclopedia on the Windows. Right, this is like Windows 95 days, right?
yeah, it was really bad.
And then I remember for like Christmas one year, I got the Encyclopedia Britannica on CD-ROM. And that was a little more easier because you could put it in there and then spit the information off there. So you don't have to wait for stuff to load as much as you did with like it being on the hard drive, I guess you could say. But your knowledge was limited to that era, right? So like say they made an update on the encyclopedia years later, you would just never know
Yeah, what you
because
got is what you got.
what you
Yeah,
got is what you got. I mean,
yeah.
I remember doing a whole science project on just using that, and it's just basically like this is all I got. I there's no resources on the internet. This is what I'm limited to. I can't go to. I guess I go to a library and
Yeah.
look at books and stuff like that, right? But like the knowledge, but and this doesn't apply. This applies for everything, especially sports. And I think this is why, if you're really serious about sports, baseball particularly, you have an opportunity to really excel and be ahead of the game and just do your homework and kind of bang out some stuff that the average guy is. You're going home after practice and just playing video games, or you're going home after practice and looking at video online, and there's enough wealth of information on there of different angles of professional, minor league, college, high school, you know Babe Ruth level players, right? That you could
True.
just indulge yourself in there to try to like figure out what's going on. I mean, it feels like that's like the Tom Brady method of life, right? Just like you indulge yourself, obsess yourself into a situation and kind of just perfect it.
Yeah, you definitely got to be obsessed, probably a little bit for sure. If you want to get good, you kind of have to be because everybody else has the same edge that you do with the resources that exist now. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if you want to try to do better than them,
There's only so much motivation one can get without being the initial push of interest of keeping yourself going. It's hard to motivate yourself,
right?
you
I
know?
know.
Like just
I wish
us.
I loved something that much. I'm jealous of
Right.
people like in that sense. Like I wish I loved something that much that I was motivated like that. You know?
Yeah, it's tough because as you know, I have several hobbies, and interests amongst things that take up quite a bit of time. And if I was focused on one of them, I'd probably be an expert in it. But on the other hand, it's a lot of things that going on. Even with this generations of this podcast going on for years and years, one you know one physical type to another,
Mm.
it does take a sense of motivation each time to just try to you know find some time, half hour once a week to kind of BS some stuff and talk about something that's relevant or something that you really like, and that's with baseball. Like it's now we get kind of excited because the season's starting, professional season's starting.
The
It's
weather's going to be warmer before
weather's
we
getting
know it.
warmer.
We're going to be sitting in the Newport stands watching a game. It's
So
great.
84 days to opening day, Tuesday, June 4th. Against the Sharks will be is that their home games? No, it's their away game. They start off on the away. So their first home game is going to be on Wednesday, June 5th against the Mountaineers at Cardine Stadium. So that is what we have looking forward to. Next week we're going to touch on one of the last guys of the Hall of Fame. And we are going to go to or this year's Hall of Fame, I should say. And then at that point, we should have some sense of what the roster is going to look like for the season. So we can start breaking down these players, statistics, give an idea of where they're going to how they're
Yep.
going to play, where they're going to stand on the team. And it's really for us, essentially, it's just a shot in the dark because, I mean, these are kids come from several different college divisions and conferences around the country.
Hmm.
All have some better than others, right? Um, so for us, it's basically like, all right, let's see what we have, and let's kind of give some kind of projective of what the season's going to look like based on the players that they have accumulated and who came back and all that good stuff. So I think that's going to be fun to kind of sink our teeth into when it
Yeah,
comes down, you know.
couldn't agree more.
But so that I think that covers. We're about 6 out of 7. We're almost there, covering the Hall of Fame. And I think this is when this is going to get a little more entertaining because it's going to be we're going to start getting really indulged into baseball, more of the statistic parts of it.
Yeah,
Into
it's
the
only
game
for
start.
our.
Then we can start breaking down games and stuff like that once the season starts. But that's going to be a matter of time.
Look at
We
you, already holding that baseball in your hand. Look at you.
look at this, like it's old school. Well, yeah, look at that. Whoa. We're gonna next week. I'm gonna set it on fire, and I'm gonna be
Oh,
entire episode just spinning it around, engaged.
like
And
you're the Rocket. Is that it? Like you're the Rocket.
yeah.
Your favorite pitcher of all time.
Speaking of the Rocket, little DeGrasse, are you familiar with the Savannah Bananas?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yes, I have. They're like a traveling, kind of like a barnstorming team, right?
Kind of, yeah. The best way to describe them, they're like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball,
Yeah.
and they play this other team called the Potty Animals, and they travel. They started off. The reason, I guess, essentially they started off. Long story short, is because Savannah had a minor league team. They lost their minor league team,
Hmm.
and the city just really embraced baseball. So they brought this kind of climatic team on where they would play like a bunch of guys who just wanted to play ball who weren't like contracted with
Yeah,
any professional teams, and they kind of turned it into like kind of like a showmanship kind of thing, kind of a performance.
I think it's great. Gets people
Well,
interested.
I mean, it's selling out professional stadiums. Last night they just sold
Yeah,
out the friggin' Astro Stadium in Houston,
really.
which
That's great.
brings me to the point that my boy Roger Clemens came out and pitched an inning, I believe, for the Bananas. So
What's he looking like?
at
What's he looking like now?
61 years old.
Oh God, he's 61 now. Jesus,
Yeah.
we're getting old. What's he look like? Does he look like he
He's a
ate
little
Roger
plump.
Clemens?
He
Yeah, I was
looks
gonna
like
say.
he's not as big as who's the big guy who played for Cleveland for all those years? Bartolo Colon. He's not as big as Bartolo, but he's what you would expect a 61-year-old retired baseball player to look like.
Oh, I'm looking at a photo. I'm throwing like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it looked like some kids came out. It must be his grandkids at this point, because this kid's about our age. Um, Came out and joined him on the field. I think he pitched like a 1-for-1 batter. Not bad for
Yeah.
61 years old, I gotta say. You know,
Yeah. That's good. Nice.
but yeah. So anything else you want to add for this week's broadcast?
No, no, my friend. I think we pretty much summed it up as best we could.
All right. Next episode, we'll finish up the Hall of Fame. We'll get into some statistics of upcoming players. Hopefully, we'll get the roster and we'll break that down until the season starts. And hopefully, we get some former players to come join us on the team. Oh yeah, on the team. Some former players from the team to join us on the show. Is what I meant.
Yeah, we gotta get that for sure.
And that'll be fun because that'll be some interesting conversation. So until next week, Adam and I will see you guys later on. Toodaloo.
Peace.
Bye. Boop.